Opposites attract. It's a timeless principle that beautifully applies to the dynamics of feminine and masculine energy. Just like magnets, these two opposing forces are naturally drawn to each other, creating a balanced connection like two puzzle pieces that only make sense together. But somewhere along the way, many of us wives, especially those of us who are strong, capable, and carry a heavy load at home, start matching our husband's energy instead of balancing it. In the early years of my marriage, I remember thinking, if I can prove to my husband that I can do everything he does, he'll be impressed. But I was wrong. Quite the opposite happened. By doing this, I started stepping out of my role of being a wife. A wife should compliment her husband, but I was setting myself up to become his competitor. What I didn't understand then is this. Feminine energy, the kind that nurtures, receives, and softness, is exactly what balances and draws out the best in masculine strength. And today I want to help you return to that beautiful God-designed femininity and share with you 4 feminine qualities that men find attractive. If you are new here, my name is Julie, and I help Christian wives who feel worn out in their homemaking, motherhood, or even marriages to become joyful, free, and whole again, even if your circumstances don't change. If you need this encouragement, I'd love for you to press that like and subscribe button to join this community. As homemakers and mothers, we give everything, our time, our energy, and our hearts. We tend to the meals, the messes, the meltdowns, and without realizing it, we slowly start to lose sight of our marriage. We lose touch with the women our husband fell in love with, and sometimes even the women we once were. But your marriage still matters. When we live in alignment with God's design, we experience a deeper sense of purpose and fulfillment. This is why I'm so passionate about sharing my understanding of what it means to be a wife according to the Word of God. I'd love to invite you to my free webinar, How to Create a Joyful Marriage. This webinar explores how to let go of resentment, understanding your husband's needs, and embracing femininity in a way that softens your marriage. The link is in the description down below for you to sign up. The first feminine quality is tenderness. The world can be incredibly harsh. Every day our husbands face pressure, stress, and burdens we may never fully understand or even know about. And often those struggles follow them home. They may not even want to talk about it, not because they don't trust us, but because they're carrying so much weight already. Talking about it makes them relive that again, and most men try to avoid it. That's why cultivating tenderness is such a powerful feminine quality. When you step into tenderness, you become his place of refuge. The one safe space where he doesn't have to perform, fix, or explain. To be tender means to be gentle, compassionate, and supportive. Not to take over, but to simply be with. Let me give you an example. When my husband shares something he's struggling with, my first instinct, being a woman and being a newlywed, was to jump in and offer a solution. But I've learned that that's not what he needs. Most men don't want us to fix their problems. They want us to just listen with grace and support. So I've taught myself to just ask thoughtful questions to help him process and listen with compassion. He always finds the solution on his own. Being his support, I just make space for him to work through it without pressure or judgment. That's the beauty of tenderness. It invites vulnerability. It tells your husband, you don't have to have it all together with me. But tenderness also shows up in the little things, like how we respond and how we choose to forgive. After more than a decade of marriage, I know how easy it is for resentment to creep in, how little annoyances or unresolved hurt can harden your heart over time. That's why choosing to live in daily forgiveness is essential. Forgiveness softens us. It protects our hearts from becoming bitter and help us continue showing kindness, even when things aren't perfect. And walking in forgiveness is something I teach in my free webinar, as it is one of the most important things we have to do in a marriage. If you struggle with this, I really recommend signing up. It's completely free and it will only benefit your marriage. The second feminine quality is being soft spoken. Men expect us to be better than them, to be more cheerful and to be more kind. When you are speaking to someone, be confident in what you say and what you speak about, but always be humble in who you are, knowing that everyone has something to give and that you can learn from other people. When you speak to your husband, speak in a cheerful and soft voice. Hearing the cheerfulness in your voice will bring him joy. And also be slow to answer. When your husband has said something to you and you know in your heart that you have taken offense, and whatever is going to come out of your mouth is going to be about defending yourself, it would be better for you and even your husband to rather just ask him if you can think about this for a moment before you speak. Allow yourself first to work through this within your heart rather than overreacting. Almost always, when you speak to your husband again about this subject, your words will be kinder. And being in a feminine energy is about being tender, being kind and soft spoken, because that is what attracts a man. Another way to live this out is don't interrupt. Not him or not anyone. It's a small habit, but one that reflects grace and self-control. It shows respect. A truly feminine woman knows how to listen with patience, and she trusts that her voice will still be heard when the time is right. So remember, feminine strength doesn't shout to be heard. It whispers truth with a gentle, confident heart. The third feminine quality is trusting your husband and showing healthy dependence on him. Now, I know how easy it is to just handle things ourselves, especially when we're capable. But when you allow your husband to step in and help, you awaken something deep within him. You call out the hero in him. Men are wired to protect, to provide, to solve problems. It's in their nature. And when you lean on him, even in small everyday ways, you stir up those masculine instincts. You become more lovable, more appealing, simply because he feels needed and valuable. So instead of doing everything yourself, invite him in. Ask him to open the jar lid that's stuck. Ask him to help carry the heavy washing basket outside. And yes, I know you can do it yourself, but remember, we want to arouse within our husbands a strong emotion of strength and protection towards us. These little invitations are opportunities for him to step into his God-given strength. And here's where the power of words come in. I love to emphasize trust when I speak to my husband. I'll say things like, I know you've got this, I trust you. Those words do more than assign a task. They breathe life in his masculine identity. They say, I believe in you, and that belief drives him to follow through. Not because he's being nagged or pressured, but because his wife believes in him. But once you've placed that trust in him, don't hover, don't follow up and ask, did you do it yet? Trust means letting go of control. Let him come back to you when he is done. Give him space to rise to the task in his own timing and way. When you show this kind of gentle dependence, it actually strengthens your marriage, because when a man feels trusted, needed, and admired, he's more likely to lead with confidence and love. The fourth feminine quality I want to encourage you to cultivate is taking care of yourself. As wives and mothers, our thoughts are constantly centered around our families, their needs, their wants, their schedules. But I want to remind you, your health and mental well-being matters deeply, not just for you, but for your husband and children too. When you're running on empty, it affects the whole atmosphere of your home. We often hear people say that mothers are the glue that holds the family together, and that's completely true. But the glue needs to be strong, and that strength comes from within. That's why inner work is so important. You need to intentionally carve out time in your week to do the things that will fill you up, bring you joy and help you feel like you again. Because we know motherhood requires a tremendous amount of emotional and physical energy. We give, and especially with small children, we don't always receive much in return. That's why it's essential not to rely on your husband to meet all those emotional needs. Learn what brings you joy and peace. Maybe it's a quiet hour with a good book, a solo walk, or a coffee with a friend. Whatever it is, prioritize it. You will be better, a more present wife and mother when you feel filled and whole. A joyful, cheerful wife is deeply attractive to a husband, not just physically, but emotionally too. And speaking of attraction, let's talk about our outer care. Taking care of your appearance is more than skin deep. It's not about perfection, it's about how you feel. When you take time to do your hair, put on a little makeup, or wear something that makes you feel beautiful, it affects how you carry yourself. That confidence shines, and your husband will notice it. Men are visual creatures, and while trends come and go, natural beauty, confidence, and self respect never go out of style. When you honor the way God made you and present yourself with joy and dignity, you reinforce His admiration and attraction for you, and you too will feel more radiant. So take care of your inner world and your outer world. When you do, everyone in your home will benefit. Thank you for watching the video. If you haven't, please press that like and subscribe button and share it with another wife who might need to hear this encouragement today. I hope that you have a blessed day.